he had sold annuities for years.
Right.
And right now, of course, with the investments being what they are, he says, I have some solutions that'll help people out so they can transfer their money and they're not going to be in such a pickle. And, and I basically said, watch the 10-10-4, make these videos, give them away. And he says, I still have the addresses of these people, okay?
Wow.
So I said, well, start mailing them out and give this information away and offer to be a consultant.
Right.
So that would be an example. And he's like, am I too old? And I said, who do you think these folks are going to believe? You said it yourself that the number of people who are turning 60 right now is happening every 7 seconds.
Every 7 seconds,
okay.
Somebody turns 60 in the U.S.
All right, so we've got an aging population. Are they going to believe a young kid, or are they going to believe someone their own age?
Yeah.
Okay?
Who's been an expert in the field for many years before?
Precisely. So, and then we've got other folks who, again, either retired because they don't want to be, or are retired but they want to play the game. And there are people just like you who would love to hear your message, is my message.
Yeah.
And the concept that we're focused on this coming year is developing shows, So, what would your audience love more than anything, assuming you could, make the time work? It's the Tony Robbins Show. 7 minutes long,
right.
A couple little tips. It opens up, hi, this is Tony Robbins. I want to share 3 great things with you this week that I learned that have transformed and changed the way I'm thinking about my own business. Right. And I'm going to introduce a handy new website that I'm using all the time.
Right.
All that and more in just a moment. So it opens up with some little credits, and that's just copied and pasted. I mean, this is all desktop stuff. And all it is you with your one camera saying blah, 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 blah. I mean, they could build the whole show.
Or going to Craigslist, running one of your ads, there's so many people, so much expertise right now, so many people, young people that know how to do these things. Yep. They can come and do the piece for you. All you're doing is delivering your message in a fun way.
Yeah, and how do you get more content? Well, people post on your blog what they want, okay? And this is this whole chicken and the egg. It's like, I don't have anything to talk about. Look, ask some of your friends, what do I represent to you?
Right.
And what do I have to share? And they'll be like, well, I like you for blah, blah, blah. Well, you make a video about that, you put it out there, you'll get a couple visitors to your site.
Right.
They're going to post some comments, and you engage with them. What else do you want to know?
Right.
Like when we send out a message now to our list, I'll get 400 responses in a couple hours.
Yeah,
so I have an endless stream of content available to make and give away, which again sells and promotes my product. But you got to get past that little hump.
Right.
And what inevitably comes is you become an expert whether you like it or not. But you have to start by sharing first, and having a little courage, or you have to have enough pain to force you into some hunger. Yeah, it'll be like, yeah. And we've heard this before, I'm screwed. I'm 30 days away from BK,
Yeah, right.
I am hosed. I lost my job. I racked up my credit cards. I'm looking for a solution. And I'll be like, well, first of all, you're not in the pickle you're in because of something you did 30 days ago. So solving this in 30 days isn't something that's going to happen necessarily. But you
make a really important point. People often will say, well, God, I tried something and hasn't shifted. If you've got habits that you've been doing for years, it's going to take you a little time to make the shift. But I think a lot of people, they're so focused on what they have to do, they're not focused on the outcome.
Yes.
Every guy I know, every woman I know, any person I know that's ever been successful, they've gotten a vision. It wasn't realistic by anybody's standards. And everybody else told them it was unrealistic, but they ignored it and said, I'm going to get there, but I'm going to do this first, this second. This doesn't work, I'll do something, but I'm going to eventually get there. It's kind of like the metaphor I give people is, taking off from San Diego to fly to Hawaii, you're off course 95% of the time if you're a good pilot. That's literally how it is if you know piloting, right? But what happens is you get off course, you don't go, oh my God, it's not working, it's over. If you did that every time, but you never make it to Hawaii, you'd be freaked out. You'd blow a valve in your brain, or your heart. Yeah. So what you're doing is you're just like constantly, saying, I know where I want to go, this isn't working, let me do this. And that's how people get from where they are, where they want to be. And the other way is your passion and education, immersion, putting yourself in it. And that's why I created this series, was so that people could see your personality. They could see Frank's personality. They could see Eben. They could see, all these different people come from completely different walks of life. They all started with nothing and are all tapping in to the greatest trend in the history of the world, which is we are all connected and we all have something of value to give. And if we find a way to give it first, not demand it, but give it first, and then we find a way to, have a way to make money from it long term, commoditize it, as they say in business, we can go to another one. And if we're in business, we can use the same tools that guy in his garage is doing to give our business that competitive edge. Because today, not only is raw real, but people want to know who they're doing business with. They're tired of the big GMs. They'd rather deal with the guy they really know. True?
Absolutely. And think about it. what do you think about? Well, I don't know about you necessarily, but what I know, I can tell you what I think, and most people I know think about Wall Street. It'd be like,
Right.
I got bad taste in my mouth. I don't trust those crooks,
Right.
I know they're making an immense amount of money, not necessarily providing value. And of course I'm making a gross generalization, but that's the perception
Right.
that I believe is shared by many.
Right.
And I believe that the source of wealth in this country, and where the core trust, desire, it's all about small business.
Yeah.
So, this flattens the playing field. There is no real difference between the big corporations, because you can build a completely virtual organization. You can
Right.
outsource the whole thing. You can you can adjust your behavior instantly, just like you were saying.
Yeah.
The beauty of putting something online is I can watch the traffic come in real time and see how many people are signing up and buying.
And you can watch their comments. Do they like it? Do they not like it? What are they irritated about? And you learn from that.
Totally.
So you don't have to be perfect the first time out doing
No,
something.
you can screw up 5 times. It's okay.
Tell me, what is it that's driving you at this stage? I know what you're proud of and everything else, but what are you building? What is this about for you at this stage? What do you really want to? What's the direction that you're really taking things now? You got all this success, but what keeps making you hungry? I guess is what I'm really asking.
Well, first of all, I love being around brilliant people. I love.
Me too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That is the spice of life to me, and I am surrounded by consistent competence. So finding.
But you seek it out.
Yes, and I do my best to help and train and build not only the rapport and the tools, but I'm always focused on how do I replicate myself. Okay, do it once. Show someone and copy it, basically capture it with video or whatever, and then be able to share it. A good friend of mine is an investment banker,
Yes.
met with me once, and he said, Mike, here's what everyone wants. It's a black box that prints money. And that changed my entire mental world. And you of all people, the challenge, your big challenge is there's only one of you,
Right.
and all of your life experience, all of your nuances, and take it from, you're a big guy in more ways than one,
Thank
and
you.
so for someone to be able to emulate and replicate and be you requires all of your pain and all of your experience. There ain't no shortcut
30 years,
here,
that's right.
And so, so now your only replication system is broadcasting, and
Right.
then being able to build a reliable continuity system, right?
without a
So
doubt.
you can be in people's lives on their terms, anytime, anywhere.
But that takes a
anytime.
mindset shift. I mean, for me, one of the things that I'm most, when I look at people in businesses, I look at 3 types of people. There's the artist, the person who loves to create things and they love to do something that touches somebody's life. And then there's the manager who really loves to manage people and processes. And then there's the entrepreneur who's willing to take the risks and make it go. Some people have a couple of these. But most people, if money wasn't, a question, some people just love to manage people. They just do it. They do it. Some people love to create things. Some value. Some people love to just roll the dice. At my core, I tend to be an artist, so I keep coming back to, man, I just want to get there with people. I want to share, what I'm learning with someone else simultaneously. I've probably done more economically through books and tapes and things of that nature that took, the initial time that I was able to share it with everybody. But where my energy tends to go is that live event where I can look in their eyes and you can see the change, and it's total immersion. It's 3 days. That's where I can put the whole system to work. I don't have to wonder if they put it to work. And so part of making yourself successful in business is developing the discipline to not just be in your business, but get outside your business and figure out, okay, how do I look at this as an entrepreneur? How do I optimize this so it's a duplicatable business? How do I, really manage this business in a way that doesn't require me every day, and not getting caught up in the artist? Because most businesses are started by somebody who's got a gift and they want to share it, and it's their passion, and that's what makes them successful. What do you see yourself as? Are you the artist? Are you the manager leader? Are you the entrepreneur? How do you look at yourself?
I think at my core, I'm an entrepreneur.
I think so too.
Yeah, and it comes from, my primary question is, how can I make this better? It used to be, I think, to a degree, how can I cheat the system? I think was how do I?
Yeah, because you love to break the rules.
Yeah. So it was like,
But the
there's
system
got to
was
be
something
an
that took
easier
away
way.
freedom from people. That's what the system was for you,
exactly.
right?
Yeah, I don't like that old fat white guy who's preventing me from being able to communicate to the planet. That was the model. So the old distribution mechanism, it was the radio station, whoever was saying no. I guess that shows a little
That's good. A little driving you, a little hungry.
Yeah, but it's true though. I just say anything that says no, I'm like, screw that. I don't want a barrier. I think, I love the world of Star Trek in a way. If we solved food and power, I'll tell you what,
the game changes.
A lot of evil goes away. Distribution was the first of the evils to really go away.
As a chokehold.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kept people from being able to just add value where they wanted to do.
Yeah.
People owned it. Well, I think you are an entrepreneur, and I think one of the reasons I asked the question is not everybody watching is. Some people own a business, but they're not an entrepreneur. But if you're an artist, the systems you've built allow someone to live like an entrepreneur.
Yes.
Right? Because you've developed the systems to solve them as an entrepreneur there. Or, if you own a business and you are an entrepreneur, you don't have to be the artist. You can go out and hire the artists today. And you can find them all over the world because the whole world of artists is available through the web today. You can reach out to them, find them, create them, recognize them, find them in your community, whatever the case may be. If you're that manager leader, I guess I want people to know that you can start a business today because so much is leverageable just as an artist.
Yes.
You can just be a manager. You can get an artist and you get somebody else to be your investor, and it doesn't, how much money does it take to really start an online business today in reality? Just so people have a sense.
I would say someone could, first of all, it's easy to get people to do stuff for you just because they're interested in it. Remember when I made the enthusiasm joke earlier?
Yeah.
I meant that in so many ways because if someone sees the enthusiasm and the desire and the hunger in your eyes, they want to be part of your life, okay?
Right.
There's something attractive
life
about
to it.
that. Totally.
Yeah.
It's very attractive. And so let's say that labor can be a non-issue, okay? Know-how can be provided in terms of systems. We give away systems to make these things work and tools. So everything that we
and
have...
you make your money when they use it.
Precisely.
Right.
So our strategy is we give stuff away for 30 days to try it out so they can see it first, right? It's proof, and then if they stick, they stick, and if they use it, they use it. But along the way, we want to get them to get there. So to answer your question, you could technically start up with $200.
Yeah, the number I've heard is between $200 and $500.
Right.
And literally, you're starting a business. What's the message that you want people to leave with out of this? So what do you think the most important thing for them to leave from this conversation with is if they're going to really shift the quality of their life?
Okay. Number one, I think it all comes down to just do it. You've got to take some action.
Right.
I think finding a coach, a mentor that you resonate with is really, really critical. So, obviously you've put together these money masters, and there are some personalities you're going to naturally just, connect with, right? Just as you've got coaches, and there's going to be a different coach or someone connects with you. So I think finding a mentor that you resonate with is step one. Step two, you've got to just decide that you're going to do it.
Right.
And I think journaling. I mean, it just gets back to the basic stuff. If it were me and I were just starting out and I had nothing right now, I would go out and seek an expert that I could partner with. Okay, that I could model and learn from in a topic that I'm interested in. Okay, one of my first things that I did was I created the infomercial toolkit. Okay.
Yes.
And I wanted to know how the television infomercial work. I knew that they work because I bought from them, and I'm usually very critical about buying anything, okay? And so I was sold from that, and I'm like, how did Tony do it? What was going on? And same thing with Joe Sugarman and all these other guys. And I wanted to, I knew about video, I knew about computers. So I contacted someone I knew in the industry and made introductions, and I asked them all, I said, can I interview you? I'm thinking about making a product about how to create internet infomercials.
Right.
I can't give you anything because I don't know what it's going to be. Could I at least interview you? And I got overwhelming response. Absolutely, we'd love to do it. So I came up with all the questions I wanted to know, and same with Rocket did, and we partnered. That was our first big product we made. And over a period of months, interviewed a bunch of experts. They gave us information. One guy, Tim Hawthorne, who did all the Time Life series, made us a DVD. He produced it. It would have cost us tens of thousands of dollars. And he said, you can have it. And he only charges a little tiny bit of money for royalties on the talent he had. He had an agreement from that. But I mean, it's totally negligible. So we basically asked questions, made a product. We transcribed the interviews, and turn it into a giant manual. And then I contacted a great copywriter, and I asked him if we could license his stuff. He says, just take it. He gave us this more content. We basically built the thing for almost nothing from something I just wanted to know more about, something I was passionate about and I wanted to become an expert in.
Right.
I basically launched my online career. And I got to be known as the internet infomercial guy. And Rocket and I built a self-sustaining business from that, for $1,000 product.
Wow.
So what my message, getting back to your original question, is anyone can do this. You don't need to know anything. And if you don't feel comfortable, Craigslist, you can find talent, people who are dying to be on camera, who will do it for free or do it for 10 or 20 bucks a day.
Yeah.
And you can go out and find a wedding videographer who's not busy during the week, who will do it. You could basically do it on credit with them and say, look, if this thing sells, I'll give you $1,000 or whatever it is, or percentage.
Yeah.
So you can do this with zero money down. And then the tools to broadcast to the planet, we got Traffic Geyser. You can do it by yourself. It's $100 a month at the base level. Mixiv is less than $100 a month to sell this stuff and deliver it to your customers, totally hands-free. It manages the affiliates. We got this voice follow-up system, which will broadcast. You can communicate with your entire world. It's this integrated, total solution.
Right.
And I'm not the only stop. There's other people out there. It's just, do you resonate with my message and my stuff, and do you like it? Do you think I'm going to take care of you?
Right.
Will I anticipate your needs?
Right.
And it isn't about me. When I say that, it's about our business, and that's something, again, very important. Is we're trying to build businesses that aren't dependent upon Mike.
Right.
Because if your brand is the person,
right,
it's less saleable.
We've covered so much territory here. I really want people to just realize that it's really a process of educating yourself. One of the reasons that I even started interviewing all of these guys was I was looking for the best of the best. My whole life's been about modeling. I learned a long time ago, you can learn by your own experience, and that can take you 10 or 20 or 30 years, and you go through a lot of trial and error learning and a lot of pain, a lot of frustration, and some people can go 5 or 10 years and never get the right answer. But if you can find somebody who spent 10 or 20 years or 5, in internet years, 5 years is like dog years. It's, with the internet, the World Wide Web's only been around since 1989. It's hard for us to get that in our heads, but the world's changing so fast. But if you can get yourself in a position where you can find somebody who knows what they're doing, and they aren't just talking the talk, they're walking the walk, they're producing the result, and they really are the best, and there's a generous spirit about them, which is what I look for, because those people understand that the secret to living is giving, that if I give more than anybody else can expect, of course I'm going to prosper. I'm going to prosper emotionally, spiritually, and if I handle it right, I can prosper financially as well. So I started this series because it's like, okay, if we can learn by their experience, you can compress decades into days. You can avoid so much pain. And you don't have to have all the skills. Somebody like Mike's figured out so many of the problems and he solved them and automated them so you can get in business now at a different level. So I hope you found this interview to be invaluable from the perspective of shifting perspective of how quickly you can take your core business that you already own, take it to another level with some simple tools. Don't wait to revamp your whole website and pay somebody a fortune to do it. Get some core messages on there. Get some 10-10-4. Get some questions. Let's get some triggers. Let's get some people that are your customers. And let's share with people what's really going on. Be playful. Be fun. And you can also go to trafficgeyser.com where you can begin to see some of his 10-4s and some of the questions and answers that people have and some of the tools that can really change your life. Mike, I've really enjoyed this conversation, as I always do, and I've really appreciated your help. And I hope people at home will seek you out. And we'll look forward to our next time to being together.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.